this blade could definitely use a little bit of care. Yeah, so first off, um, yeah, this right here is sort of tack welded on. Second off, this used to have a really bad bamboo shaft on it, covered in shrink wrapping and duct tape. The blade itself is made out of not so great quality metal. I tried to harden it, but the file still bites in quite a bit, so I'm not sure if it's actually hardened. Not as much as it does down here, but I could just be imagining that. The blade itself has a few rolls and chips and all that bad stuff in it. Down here anyway. I don't think I noticed anything up here, but down here, like you can even see it in the video, like right there. So yeah, don't really have a good piece I'm working with. Besides, as you can also see, it's rusted. It's got a few rust spots like right there and such. So, you know, on the other side it's got some. I hear it was found on a beach, so I'm actually kind of surprised it's not as rusted as it could be. But anyway, I'm going to be shining this up. Also, before we get too deep into this video, I'd like to thank Eric Wolf Productions for giving me this amazing little piece of work that I've got here. Hopefully it'll be something nice. So, without further ado, it's go time. So I have now the blade isolated and the cross guard off, so I've got it pretty much mostly sanded down at this point. Probably gonna do a little bit more once I'm to the point of sharpening, but for all purposes now, I can put a handle on this thing. So, just to sort of give you an idea of where we're at, right now I've got the sheath being glued together. I've got it in two halves right now. I'm going to put the second half on the first half. The first half I already trim routed out. Second half I'll just glue onto the top of that without doing any trim routering because it fits perfectly already. So I want it to be a nice tight fit, but at the same time I don't want it to be, too rickety. So I'm just giving it some extra support there. As for this is the sleeve that's going to go around the top of the sheath. It's going to be a little bit bigger than the rest of the sheath. And I think with this, I'm probably actually going to sand it down and stain it. The sheath, I think I'm going to paint it, but with this, I think I'm going to stain it. So hopefully that goes well. It's going to be interesting because it's two different pieces of wood that I'm gluing together, and it is the exact length of that little transitional piece between the blade and the tang. And so hopefully the cross guard will be resting on that, and it'll just be absolutely perfect. If it is absolutely perfect, it'll be a first for me. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out. So looking forward to putting this on there once it's dry. Alright, so we are almost to the end of it. Right now I have the handle mostly sanded down, the pins are in, the handle is glued together. Pretty much this thing is, functionally speaking, pretty much done. All I need to do is just sand it down a little bit more because it's still a little bit unwieldy. It's a little bit big. But yeah, all I need to do is just sand it down and apply some stain to it, and it will be done. Oh, and before I forget, yes, the sheath. I have it made out of two different components here. You got this part right here, which is for the regular blade, and this part right here that is for the rest of it. I'm going to be paring this down to match the rest of this, but I will be staining this up here and not this down here. This down here I'm going to be painting because, yeah, it would look pretty bad if I were to stain it. It's going to be a bit difficult, but I'll get through it. I'll paint it. It'll look good. I'll stain this part up here. It's going to look nice. As you can see here, I'm making the best use of my resources, recycling that old staining towel as some, I guess a drop cloth. Alright, so the paint on the sheath is still a little bit tacky, as is the shirt, I'm well aware. But I can still hold it and get no paint residue on my hand, so for all intents and purposes, this thing is finished. So, kind of excited about how it turned out, you know, considering what it was before this. I think I actually did a pretty good job. The sheath does leave a lot to be desired, but this is pretty much the first sheath I've ever made. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting perfection, but it came out well. It functions as a sheath, so I'm happy about that. And as far as the sword is concerned, didn't really have much to work with as far as the blade is concerned. I hope I hardened it. I think I hardened it a little bit. It's certainly not anything I would actually use as a real sword, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good still. Shined up the brass part pretty well. That came out a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it would just grind away, frankly, because all of the corrosion on it and the fact that it's kind of thin. But the crossguard came out pretty well. I like the detail that was added there. The handle I spent quite a bit of time on. This part right here, you can see no tang in there. It's a completely hidden tang. The 3 pins worked beautifully. I'm actually surprised at how well they came out. So, yeah, I'm just really proud of this sword, despite the fact that it's not so great. All things considered, came out pretty well. So, thank you for joining me for this video, and I hope you all have a great day.